And once again, I want to say greetings to each and every one of you. Aquaba, welcome, welcome, welcome to another round of the Conscious Rasta Report here on LIV Radio, LIV TV, here on livinginblack.com. My name is Kitty Owadu, aka the Conscious Rasta. Weekday mornings, you and I get together live. We come at you from 9 a.m. Pacific time. That's 12 noon Eastern time, 5 p.m. GMT, and 8 p.m. East Africa time. We get together with you, and we deal with culture, consciousness, historical perspectives, entertainment, economics, education, health, labor, law, politics, religion, family conflict, future studies, all areas of human interactivity and development. Today's date is Monday, the 15th day of December, year 2025 in the Gregorian Western calendar. This corresponds to the year 6265 in the Kemetic calendar, to which we realigned our cultural clock. Welcome to the 7th millennium. You have found your family in a peaceful place here on LIV Radio, LIV TV, here on livinginblack.com. Let me tell you what I have on board for today. I hope you find this to be compelling, to the point that you act upon what you see is the right thing to act upon. Let's go into today's conversation. Today's conversation: can hydrogen water defeat chronic kidney disease? That's the question we have on the table. Can hydrogen water defeat chronic kidney disease? Let's go into the dialogue. Welcome to the Conscious Rasta Report, where truth meets our distinct cultural traditions. Today, we dive into hydrogenated water, touted as a wellness revolution. Does it truly combat oxidative stress, boost energy, and slow aging? Or is it just more mere hyperbole? We examine the science, separate fact from fiction, and explore if this mystical elixir lives up to the hype. Tune in as today we clarify and balance truth and understanding. And I hope you do find this to be a compelling dialogue. I put a good deal of research in this morning into today's topic, and I think you will find it to be quite satisfying. And so, first of all, I just want to open this link so that my Rumble family is in the house and I have a chance to greet you all. And I want to also create this link over here for, where am I at? Oh, this is the link to where today's research will be available to myself and others who are fellow researchers. Now, if you are a fellow researcher, I'm going to start making these documents available. And you'll be able to download the link plus my research notes for today. Now, it's not going to be free. I can't give away free twice. I do give it all away free in real time, which is what you are tuned into right now. We're going to do the best we can to do even better as we move into a future where you and I can control our destiny. If you're in the house today and you like what you're hearing, I want you to hit that like button and let me know that you are in the house. Just type a couple of words into the chat. If you're on Rumble, if you're on YouTube, if you're on LinkedIn, if you are on Facebook, let your brother know. It greatly, greatly appreciated. So let's go into today's research. The first thing I'm going to do is I have a piece of video. I'm going to show the first piece of video is entitled, what's it entitled? It is entitled, Hydrogen Water Will Change Your Life. Let's just share this video with you, and we'll be right back with a second piece of video. Hydrogen water will change your life.
So hydrogen gas is one of the best things you can put in the human body. This is public information, but when I started working with John Jones, when I dropped into his fight camp his big thing was he was just waking up so stiff and sore and achy. So I had him start drinking hydrogen water. I had him start bathing in hydrogen water. He started taking a 25-minute bath every night, so we'd knock all the inflammation out of his body. And I think it was about 15 or 18 days later, he calls me and he was like, dude, I don't know what's going on, but he's like, I am completely out of pain. I am so pain-free that I'm adding an additional day of training to my camp. So hydrogen gas is one of the best things you can put in the human body. This is public information, but when I started working with John Jones, when I dropped into his fight camp, his big thing was he was just waking up so stiff and sore and achy.
I'm going to stop that video right now. And that was pretty interesting. Most of us probably have not heard that about hydrogen water, hydrogen gas. He's emphasizing at that particular point. The next one I'm going to share with you counteracts what you just saw. Now, I want you to put a serious skeptical, put your skeptical ears on today. That's what I'm trying to say, because we have to be alert that some of these people may just be scamming us. And you're going to do, let me just play the video. And then you tell me what you see with this particular video. Here we go.
Hydrogen water is the best water you can put in the human body. That little thing that I gave you right there, that little thing, you pour your spring water in there, you hit that little button and it adds hydrogen ions.
This charlatan can't even get his buzzwords right. If we remember back to grade school chemistry, when you put hydrogen ions in solution, you create the definition of a Bronsted acid. However, a further inspection of their page says that they claim to use electrolysis to split water into hydrogen and oxygen. That is hydrogen gas, which is a molecule, not an ion.
It feeds a whole class of bacteria in your gut called hydrophiles.
There's no such thing as a hydrophile bacteria. Having higher circulating hydrogen concentration in your gut fluid can reduce the production of butyrate, provided that you're eating a crap load of bread like an idiot.
Occurs naturally in streams that are running in nature.
Don't fall for the script. Drink more water.
Hydrogen water is the best water you can put in the human body. That little thing that I gave you.
All right, that was the second video. Interesting. Hydrogen water is a miracle, will change your life, versus hydrogen water is a scam. I'm not going to weigh in. I'm going to do the best I can to remain rather neutral on this and let the research stand in for me. So first of all, let's go into the first point of view, the many reported benefits of hydrogen water. Now, again, we're talking about, can hydrogen water defeat chronic kidney disease? Because we don't have a lot of room to, there's no room for risk here. Chronic kidney disease, dialysis is devastating our community. And quite simply, we must do the best that we can do to defeat it today, for all time. First, let's talk about the many reported benefits of hydrogen water. Hydrogen water, water infused with dissolved molecular hydrogen gas, has severe promises, but still not fully proven. Health effects, mainly linked to antioxidant and anti-inflammatory actions. Evidence is mixed and often based on small or short-term studies, so benefits should be seen as potential rather than guaranteed. Core biological effects. Molecular hydrogen can act as a selective antioxidant, helping neutralize certain reactive oxygen species and reducing oxidative stress in cells. Point two, it may exert anti-inflammatory effects, lowering inflammatory markers and modulating immune responses in various experimental and clinical settings. And point number three, some studies suggest anti-apoptotic, cell protective, anti-allergic, and potential neuroprotective effects, though these findings are mostly early stage. Next, talking about the metabolic and cardiovascular benefits of hydrogen water. Small human trials report improvements in markers of metabolic syndrome, such as reduced LDL cholesterol, improved HDL function, or better glucose metabolism. But results are not consistent across all studies. Next point, hydrogen water may improve endothelial function and reduce symptoms such as angina or arterial stiffness in people with cardiovascular disease, again, in limited small cohorts. Now, I used Perplexity AI. I use it quite a bit, and I am absolutely convinced Perplexity outshines all of the other chat GPT based researchers. And there I use a number of them. In fact, I used probably 3 or 4 for today. So we do the best we can to bring you the best information. Point number 3. Oh, because oxidative stress and inflammation contribute to atherosclerosis, which is related to advanced kidney malfunction, researchers are exploring hydrogen water as a possible adjunct to standard cardiovascular prevention, not a replacement. Next category, exercise, fatigue, and performance. A 2024 selective review suggests molecular hydrogen can reduce some markers of exercise-induced oxidative stress and muscle damage, although effects on performance outcomes are modest and variable. Point 2, some trials report reduced subjective fatigue, not objective fatigue, reduced subjective fatigue and faster recovery after strenuous exercise or in patients with chronic conditions likely linked to reduced oxidative stress. Point, these benefits appear dose and protocol dependent. That's a key point, dose and protocol dependent. And not all studies show performance improvements. So expectations should remain cautious. Next category is neurological, gastrointestinal, and other potential benefits. Point 1, animal and early clinical research indicates potential benefits for cognitive function, brain edema, and neuroinflammation, suggesting possible roles in neurodegenerative or post-injury contexts. But human data are preliminary. Point 2, hydrogen water has shown protective and symptom relieving effects in models of inflammatory bowel disease, gastric injury, and other GI conditions. That's the gastrointestinal tract conditions, probably via antioxidant and anti-inflammatory mechanisms. Point, additional exploratory studies suggest possible benefits as an adjunct in dialysis, cancer therapy, and severe infections like COVID-19. But these require much larger, rigorous trials before routine use is justified. And they did mention in dialysis. So that is a particular concern for today's conversation. Next, it goes into safety and limitations. This is an important part of our conversation today. Safety and limitations across more than 100 clinical studies. Hydrogen water at commonly used doses has not been associated with serious side effects. Occasional mild issues like bloating, headache, or nausea are usually transient. Point 2, experts consider hydrogen water generally safe for human adults, but it is not clearly superior to adequate hydration with regular water. It says it is not clearly superior to adequate hydration with regular water, and people with kidney disease or on complex medication regimens should consult a clinician first. And last point, the overall evidence base is still limited by small samples, short durations, and heterogeneous protocols. So hydrogen water should be viewed as an experimental adjunct to, not a substitute for, established medical and lifestyle treatments. Next section, the evidence for hydrogen water. The evidence for hydrogen water comes from small randomized trials, pilot studies, and several systematic reviews that collectively suggest antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and possibly metabolic and clinical benefits. But the overall quality of evidence is still moderate to low and not definitive. It talks about key clinical trials, mentions a few, a randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled trial in 74 healthy adults found that 4 weeks of electrolyzed hydrogen-rich water reduced biomarkers of oxidative stress and improved some quality of life indices. That from Nogueira, J.E. et al. From 2020. Next study, a multi-center, double-blind, randomized controlled trial in people with type 2 diabetes reported that electrolyzed hydrogen-rich water improved glycemic control and reduced oxidative stress markers versus control. And that from Higashikawa, F. Higashikawa et al. From 2021. Third, a 24-week randomized trial in adults with metabolic syndrome found that high concentration hydrogen-rich water favorably changed body composition, blood lipids, and inflammation markers. That from LeBaron T.W. et al. 2020. And I'm sorry, I did not get a chance to look up these individual articles. But if no one's responding to me, I guess I would save you and me a lot of time this morning. Point 4, a 6-month randomized control pilot trial in older adults suggested that hydrogen-rich water modulated several molecular and phenotypic biomarkers of aging. Sakai T. et al. From 2021. And lastly, an 8-week randomized controlled study in people with obesity examined hydrogen-rich water and appetite-related outcomes, reporting changes in appetite measures and related pathways. That from Todorov in et al. 2025. And of those 5 different studies, it appears the first one, a randomized double-blind placebo-controlled trial in 74 healthy adults, found that 4 weeks of electrolyzed hydrogen-rich water reduced biomarkers of oxidative stress and improved quality of life indices. And I'm going to find just that one copy. I'm going to go over here to a new window and find this article and put that in parentheses. And I'm going to find that one real quickly. No results were found for the article. It said no results were found for the article. Let me do this. Let me just take out the parentheses, not the parentheses, well, I'm just going to search for, generally I'm searching for the article response, and it is coming in. Bear with me, everybody. The study you're referring to appears to stem from the ongoing research into electrolyzed hydrogen-rich water, particularly its effect on biomarkers. Now, here's a summary of what the trials say. I don't need oh, here it is. The health effects. a randomized. I'm looking for a randomized. Okay, let me just pull up what it did find. Open a new tab and open a new tab. The first article it did find, I'm going to share with you. And here's just the link. It's just the link. It's called Health Effects of Electrolyzed Hydrogen Water for the Metabolic Syndrome and Pre-Metabolic Syndrome, a 3-month randomized controlled trial and subsequent analyses. So let's go to, I'm going to share with you that particular link, put it up on YouTube. And here's, I'm going to read the abstract to it as well. And I'm going to put this up for you in Nguvu. I see you in the house, and for Africa One are both in the house. Thank you for being with us today. Can I get both of you to verify this article? For Africa One, Hotep, Brother Kiti, and Global LIB family, Hotep to you. Nguvu says Sawubona, which translates to I see you. Excellent topic. On the road again, so I'll have to listen. 2 questions. 1, does it support fasting responses? And 2, can you consume too much of it? Those are 2 good questions. I'm going to answer those. It should, if we can believe the hype, it should, yes, support fasting responses. Although there are so many flags up with this that I would be cautious of using just hydrogenated water as opposed to just drinking clear, clean, filtered tap, or not filtered tap water, but filtered water or spring water. And you said it also, can you drink too much of it? I think so, yes. And I'm going to read this abstract from the article, the first article, The Health Effects of Electrolyzed Hydrogen Water for the Metabolic Syndrome and Pre-Metabolic Syndrome, 3-month randomized controlled trial and subsequent analysis. Here's the abstract. We studied the effect of 3 months use of electrolyzed hydrogen water, electrolyzed hydrogen water conditioner produced by Nihon Trim Company, Ltd., on metabolic and pre-metabolic syndrome groups. This research was carried out jointly by Susaki City Nihon Trim Company, Ltd., and Kochi University as part of a local revitalization project with health as a key word. A randomized, placebo-controlled, double-blind, parallel group trial was conducted to evaluate the clinical impact of electrolyzed hydrogen water on participants who suffered from metabolic syndrome or pre-metabolic syndrome. The electrolyzed water was produced via electrolysis using a commercially available apparatus made by the very same company that is carrying out this study, that sells the device that they make. Let me be clear. The Nihon Trim Company, Ltd., Osaka, Japan. During exercise, oxidative stress increases and active oxygen species, that's reactive oxygen species, increase. In this study, we examined 181 subjects with metabolic syndrome or pre-metabolic syndrome. Among the group that drank electrolyzed hydrogen water for 3 months, those who also engaged in a high level of physical activity showed a significant difference in waist circumference reduction. Although no significant difference was observed, several positive results were found in the participants who engaged in a high level of physical activity. Urinary 8, OHDG, urinary nitrolysine, nitrotyrosine, the HbA1c, and blood pressure glucose levels increase in the filtered water group, but decrease in electrolyzed hydrogen water group. High sensitivity C-reactive protein increased less in the electrolysis water group, and 8-isoprostane decreased more in the electrolyzed group. In subsequent analysis, the electrolyzed hydrogen water group showed a significantly greater reduction in waist circumference than the other group, filtered water group only, when controlled for high physical activity. Based on the result, we suggest that among participants in the study who suffered from metabolic syndrome and pre-metabolic syndrome, in which the level of active oxygen species is said to be higher than in healthy subjects, the group that consumed electrolyzed hydrogen water and also engaged in a high level of physical activity experienced a suppressed or reduced increase in active oxygen species. Now, when I read that, it did several times say that they participated in drinking the water and engaged in a high level of physical activity. They consistently showed results. Although they did not say whether the filtered water group also engaged in that high level of physical activity. So this study brings caution to me. It does bring caution to me. There's a second study. I do see a comment from Sister for Africa One. She writes, where are most of the studies originating from? Pharmaceutical companies or universities or holistic health institutions involved? Yes, I did see holistic health institutions involved, and that's going to come in later as I start to debunk much of the hype and hyperbole around electrolyzed hydrogen water. So I will be citing some of those, but you do raise a good question, because this study was definitely commissioned by the company that manufactures the devices that they sell. And there's nothing wrong with that. But let's be clear, there is a distinct bias. And then we add to that bias that statement, they drank the water and engaged in a high level of physical activity to get the results that they got. So that draws caution. I'm going to read a second article, and I'm going to reject these cookies. I don't need your cookies. This article is the effects of hydrogen-rich water on blood lipid profiles in metabolic disorders, clinical trials, a systematic review and meta-analysis. Now, what I'm going to do, I didn't on the previous one, but I'm going to share the title of this article, and I'm going to share the link to this article. Sorry, but didn't mean to razz you, but my brain is going on, and I'm so split between different research that I'm putting up here today. And I'm going to share with you the link to the article on my Facebook page. Is going to be the title and the link. For the others, it will just be one or the other. And there is the link to that article for that site. And one more time, I'll post up the link here for YouTube. Here's what the abstract to this article says. Context: metabolic disorders are a growing global concern, especially in developed countries due to their increasing prevalence. Serum lipid profiles, including triglycerides, total cholesterol, high-density lipoprotein, and low-density lipoprotein are commonly used clinical biomarkers for monitoring the progression of these metabolic abnormalities. In recent decades, hydrogen-rich water, HRW, has gained attention as a safe and effective treatment with regulatory effects on lipid peroxidation and inflammatory responses in clinical trials. The objectives: systematic review and meta-analysis aim to evaluate the effectiveness of hydrogen-rich water therapy on blood lipid profiles in randomized controlled trials for metabolic disorders. Let me skip down to the results. I'm not going to read that, it's all technical, but the conclusion: hydrogen-rich water demonstrated modest lipid-lowering effects in patients with metabolic disorders. However, due to the observed heterogeneity in HDL levels, further long-term trials involving larger populations are needed to clarify these inconsistencies. And that was that one paragraph I didn't read because this is all numbers and percentages, and you won't even tune in after reading that. But I highly recommend do read the article. I just put it up. It's from brieflands.com, brieflands.com. And it's from the International Journal of Endocrinology and Metabolism. And so that's pretty interesting. I'm going to keep these articles, no doubt, no doubt. And it's rather lengthy, and it has a whole research and lots and lots and lots of statistics and numbers and references, etc. In conclusion, hydrogen water therapy shows potential as a regulatory factor for plasma blood lipid profiles. However, the overall effects were modest, and hydrogen-rich water may be more effective when combined with lifestyle modifications and other treatments. So, that sounds like we are already on track to get rid of, lower these metabolic risk factors and live metabolic disease free. Sister 4 Africa 1, I know you are in that lifestyle. I am very firmly in that lifestyle. So next, we're going to go back to my original research document. We did the studies, systematic and narrative reviews, just a few. 2024 systematic review titled Hydrogen Water, Extra Healthy or a Hoax? Concluded that hydrogen-rich water shows potential benefits across oxidative stress, inflammation, metabolic parameters, and various disease models, but emphasized small sample sizes and heterogeneity of methods. Dimitrov G. et al., 2024. 2023 clinical review. Molecular hydrogen therapy, a review on clinical studies, summarized 81 trials and 64 studies, human studies, as reported positive signals in cardiovascular, cancer, respiratory, neurologic, infectious, and metabolic conditions, while stressing the need for larger, high-quality, randomly controlled trials. That from Hong YC et al. 2023. Third, a 2019 systematic review on molecular hydrogen in oncology described hydrogen as a promising adjunct to cancer therapy that may improve prognosis and treatment tolerance, but based mainly on case series and small trials. They're from J.B. Chen et al. 2019. And fourth, a 2024 narrative research on electrolyzed hydrogen water highlighted its selective antioxidant effects, reduction of reactive oxygen species, and potential for chronic disease prevention, again noting that clinical evidence remains preliminary. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that whole section on systemic and narrative reviews, and I'm going to put that up on my Facebook page. I can't put it up on these other pages because it's too large to fit in the stream. So if you're interested, if you go to my Facebook page, you will see those trials and you will see who conducted the trials and where you will be able to find them. But does not include any hyperlinks. So that's that. Let me just do this a second time on Facebook Live, where the video is up here for today. And I would encourage, it would be nice, it would be really, really nice if someone else, in addition to myself, were to do these researches. It would be so wonderful. But unfortunately, I did not have time to look up all these references. I'm still on the pro hydrogenated water side. We haven't even gotten to the anti-hydrogenated water, or that is just mostly hype. And if you're living already in a good lifestyle, you may not need that. There are another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 formatted references for this, and I'm going to put that up as well. on my Facebook page, and then we're going to change to investigating the other side. So there we go. I'll put that up. That's on my Facebook. Now let's talk about the other side of this conversation. And the other side is basically countering research. Based on the available research, hydrogen water, also known as hydrogen-rich water or hydrogenated water, is regular water infused with molecular hydrogen gas, H2. While it has gained significant attention in the health and wellness industry, the scientific evidence presents a mixed picture. Now, I remind everybody about the immense hype around alkaline water. And the idea of alkaline water sounds compelling until you understand the mechanism. You're pouring alkalinated water, which has a positive, was it pH, positive something of high, positive hydrogen, whatever, has a potential of hydrogen. That's it, potential of hydrogen. You're pouring alkaline water, which is above 7.0, and then it really has to get above 7.40 or up to 8 to be effective. You're pouring it into an acidic environment of your stomach. Immediately, that neutralizes any benefit from hydrogen, unless you are able to infuse it into your blood sublingually, which most people don't drink alkaline water that would infuse it sublingually. Then it's neutralized immediately. But we have so many anecdotal references and records of people saying, hey, I drink I drink the alkaline water and it makes me feel great. And I do not dismiss that evidence. That's one could call it the placebo effect. But if people feel better after doing it, then you want to do it. So based upon the countering research, the potential benefits, research suggests hydrogen water may offer several additional benefits due to its antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and anti-apoptotic properties. Number one, in exercise performance, some studies show it may reduce fatigue, improve endurance, and decrease blood lactic acid levels during physical activity. However, effects varied based on individual fitness levels. Point two, cardiovascular health. Research indicates potential benefits for managing hyperlipidemia. And hyperlipidemia means you got too much fat tissue. Where we at? Hyperlipidemia. Let me find that word. I screwed up and hit the wrong button. Find hyperlipid. All right, and I'm going to have to get back to you a little bit later, Brother Jabari. I hope you can tune into my show right now, live on YouTube. Peace now. And hyperlipidemia. Let me find the word. And yeah, so cardiovascular health. Research indicates potential benefits for managing hyperlipidemia, with studies showing decreased total cholesterol and LDL levels. It may also improve arterial endothelial function. Metabolic health. Studies on individuals with metabolic syndrome showed improvements in antioxidant levels, blood glucose, cholesterol, and inflammatory biomarkers. Liver function. Hydrogen water demonstrated improvements in liver enzyme profiles for patients with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and chronic hepatitis B, and oxidative stress reduction. It may help neutralize harmful free radicals and reduce inflammatory responses in healthy adults. Importantly, Limitations. Despite promising preliminary results, several significant limitations exist. Point 1, many studies use very small sample sizes. Point 2, short-term focus without long-term safety data. Point 3, varying hydrogen concentrations across studies make comparisons difficult. Point 4, some studies lacked proper placebo controls. And point 5, potential commercial biases in research funding. That's what you were talking about a little bit earlier, Sister for Africa. And safety considerations. Experts generally consider hydrogen water safe to drink, with no known risks beyond those of regular water. The main concern with any water consumption is drinking excessive amounts, which can lead to hypoatremia, diluted blood sodium, hypoatremia. Bottom line, while preliminary research is encouraging, scientists emphasize that more rigorous, large-scale studies are needed to substantiate these findings. Current research hasn't fully explained the mechanisms beyond hydrogen water's potential benefits. It's unclear whether its benefits exceed those of regular water or simply staying well hydrated. Hydrogen water research faces counter arguments from systematic reviews and analyses highlighting methodological flaws, inconsistent results, and insufficient evidence for broad health claims. Point 1, small sample sizes and low statistical power. Many trials, such as those with 20 to 74 participants, lack adequate power for reliable conclusions, limiting generalizability. That from Dimitri G. et al., 2024. Point 2, short-term studies, example given 4 to 8 weeks, failed to assess long-term effects or sustainability of any observed changes. That from G. Dillon, Dillon, et al., 2024. Next, it talks about the absence of controls and design flaws. Some studies omit placebo groups or washout periods in crossover designs, risking carryover effects and confounding results. Example given, liver fat study critique. Point 2, failure to monitor diets or other variables attributes benefits solely to hydrogen water without isolating its impact. That's a very important point. Point 3, inconsistent or null findings. Botek et al., year not specified in snippet, found no effects on fatigue from hydrogen water. And the second, Uj et al., OOI et al., reported no improvements in treadmill running performance among endurance athletes. Lastly, potential biases and heterogeneity. Commercial funding in some research raises conflict of interest concerns, with variable hydrogen concentrations complicating comparisons. That from Dimitri et al., 2024. And reviews note encouraging preliminary signals, but emphasize the need for larger, remote, randomly controlled trials to mixed animal and human data and protocols differences. I don't know what that sentence said. I kind of read it kind of confused. But in other words, just encouraging signals, but not convinced yet because there just wasn't enough research. Hydrogen water and chronic kidney disease. This really becomes the topic of discussion. Point 1, this is the start. Hydrogen water shows potential benefits for managing chronic kidney disease by targeting key pathological processes such as oxidative stress and inflammation, which are central to the disease's progression. Clinical studies have reported that drinking hydrogen-rich water can improve kidney function parameters in chronic kidney disease patients, including reduced proteinuria and improved glomerular filtration rate. These improvements are attributed to hydrogen's ability to reduce oxidative stress and inflammation, thereby stabilizing kidney function and potentially slowing disease progression. The mechanisms underlying these benefits involve hydrogen's selective scavenging of harmful reactive oxygen species, ROS, such as hydroxyl radicals and peroxynitrate, without disrupting essential cellular signaling. Hydrogen activates the KEAP1 NRF2 signaling pathway, which enhances the expression of antioxidant enzymes like superoxide dismutase and boosts the body's natural defense against oxidative damage. It also modulates inflammatory pathways by inhibiting NF-KB activation and reducing pro-inflammatory cytokines like TNF, tumor necrosis factor A, alpha, and interleukin 6. Furthermore, hydrogen therapy has been shown to inhibit apoptosis and necroptosis. Let me repeat. Hydrogen therapy has been shown to inhibit apoptosis and necroptosis in kidney cells, preserve clotho expression, and activate autophagy, all of which contribute to renal kidney protection. In patients undergoing hemodialysis, hydrogen water has been associated with reduced systemic oxidative stress, improved redox status, and a lower incidence of cardiovascular complications. A case report documented significant improvement in renal function, including decreased serum creatinine levels in an elderly patient with chronic kidney disease and comorbidities following hydrogen capsule therapy, suggesting a protective effect on kidney function. Despite these promising findings, the current evidence is based on small-scale studies in animal models, and large-scale, long-term randomized controlled trials are still needed to confirm efficacy and establish standardized treatment protocols. While hydrogen water is considered safe with no reported significant adverse effects, it should be viewed as a supportive wellness strategy rather than a replacement for conventional or holistic medical treatments. Therefore, consultation with a healthcare provider is advised while incorporating hydrogen water into a chronic kidney disease management plan. A little bit more on chronic kidney disease. Hydrogen water shows preliminary promise in preclinical and small clinical studies for supporting kidney health in chronic kidney disease context, primarily through antioxidant and anti-inflammatory mechanisms that may reduce oxidative stress and slow disease progression. Animal model evidence. In rat models of acute kidney injury induced by glycerol or ischemia reperfusion, hydrogen-rich water or saline reduced markers of oxidative damage. Example given MDA, boost antioxidants and lowered inflammation. Point 2, oxalate-induced kidney injury. Models in mice demonstrated fewer calcium oxalate crystals, less tubular damage, and inhibited pathways like P13K, AKT, NF-KB, and TGF with hydrogen-rich water administration. So chronic models such as unilateral urethral obstruction showed attenuated fibrosis and inflammatory infiltration via hydrogen-rich interventions. Lastly, two more points: human and clinical observations. Cross-sectional studies reported lower blood urea nitrogen and oxidative stress in daily electrolyzed hydrogen water consumers versus non-consumers, suggesting potential chronic kidney disease management benefits. A small study in CKD patients found 12 weeks of hydrogen-rich water improved glomerular filtration rate, reduced proteinuria, and stabilized function, attributed to reduced oxidative stress. The last point, reviews note hydrogen's role in dialysis patients and diabetic kidney disease, with signals of better renal biomarkers, though data remain limited to pilots. So lastly, close out, limitations and cautions. Large scale RCTs exist, and that's randomly controlled trials exist. Limited large scale randomly controlled trials exist, with most evidence from animal studies or small human cohorts. Experts urge caution for chronic kidney patients due to unproven long-term safety and interactions with dialysis or medications. And so there is the best report that I could do on it. There were a lot of reasons, reading across what we shared today, for believing that hydrogen-rich water could be very helpful. Yet then they all pointed out the lack of studies, or in some cases, the bias of those conducting the research that is available. Therefore, I suggest one should consider using hydrogen-rich water. You're putting the hydrogen gas into the water, hydrogen-infused water. Yet at the same time, because there's lack of evidence in these trials, randomly controlled trials, that one should do not put all your eggs in that basket. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm still going to it because I'm still kind of confused in all of this. There's a lot of information. I would not put all my eggs in that basket. In fact, I'm going to tell you, I put my eggs in the basket of a complete and total lifestyle regulation. And I have been talking about, you've been hearing me talk about the last couple of days. I recently did a very extensive AI chat with Perplexity about my own daily health routine. And it's very, very complex. I may or may not share what I do on a daily basis with everyone else. For one, you've heard a lot of it before, and I see very little evidence that, other than just a small handful of people, that people are really fired up enough to go ahead and go for it. Just to give you an example, usually during the afternoon, sometime between 11:30 and 4:30, I will do 3 sets of push-ups. Totaling, yesterday's total was 750. Most people don't want to do that. But you've got to recall, when I first started engaging in this, I was 63 years old. And on my 63rd birthday, I can recall being very proud of doing I think it was 70 push-ups, 60 or 70 push-ups. I did it at the Crash Unity Center in Los Angeles, bragging and boasting. And I did it in front of people that I did 70 push-ups without stopping. And that was wonderful. Now, if I do 70, it's like, well, you just got started, man. I have to do, if I'm impressed at 200 plus, I'm more impressed at 300. And I impressed myself at 350. Of course, recently you heard me report here on LIB Radio just a few weeks ago, I broke my lifetime all-time record at 465 push-ups in a single set. I also have recently engaged in 5 Japanese exercises or stretching exercises before going to sleep at night. I do intermittent fasting, 18-6, and I'm very strict on that. I have recently began eating my first meal of the day is chia pudding. So when you consider all the things that I do, I've added Tai Chi, 7 minutes of Tai Chi in my afternoons. And I'm active all day long, even when watching television or movie or something. I'll stand up every few minutes, every 10 minutes or so, and do my stretching exercises. And I can even do them while in my chair, just bend my shoulders back to where I'm squeezing an imaginary ball between my shoulder blades in the back, and then come forward and do the opposite. So we have a lot of routines that I do. And those are just physical routines. And there are a lot of things that I do. So therefore, an expensive hydrogen water generator. Now, these things are costing anywhere from $80 to $200 plus. So getting your electrolysis machine for generating the hydrogenated water is expensive, especially with my current budget. I cannot and will not be able to do that at all. So we're going to continue to do everything. But the beautiful benefit about it is, with the routine that I am currently doing, Perplexity, using ChatGPT 5 as its backbone, told me I will be living between 110 to 112 years of age with a high quality lifestyle, vitality, and that's above 118 years. So I'm not mad. I'm glad about that. High quality lifestyle above, it was up there. I have the whole report and I'm considering reading it. I did send it to one person, and I had not heard back from that one person. But what are you willing to do? Sister Singai, I think you are probably doing about as good as anybody that I know. And so I plan on you being around when I finally join the ancestors. The others in the house, Batsuranda, and others are very strict in this lifestyle. And I don't regret it at all. I miss nothing about eating meat and drinking booze. I miss nothing at all about that. In fact, I feel so good at age 70. I feel so great. Why would I ever want to backtrack like that? Oh, don't you miss eating meat? No. No. So we're going to do the best we can to convince as many of you as possible that we are worthy of your support. You can join us and you can feel pretty good about it. Now, lastly, before I go, I have to take a moment and remind you that LIB Radio is conducting its fund drive. And remind you what you already know, that your health is your wealth, is your greatest wealth. Health is wealth. Wealth is health. That's a short poem, and it means a lot. Your health is your greatest wealth, and we're committed here on LIB Radio to bringing you the knowledge you need to thrive. This December, as we reflect on another year of exploring wellness breakthroughs, holistic healing practices, and preventive health strategies, we're asking for your support to keep this vital conversation going. And today, I hope you heard it as proof. Has anybody ever presented to you as thorough a research on hydrogen water and its role in combating inflammation and oxidative stress? Has anybody ever reported such a comprehensive report to you and not charge you for it? If they have, please turn me on to whoever that is. Every episode we produce requires hours of research. That took a lot of research. Had to go to a lot of experts, and I have to carefully produce each show, do the promos and all of those things to ensure that you receive accurate, actionable health information. We've covered everything from nutrition science and mental health to fitness innovations and natural remedies, all without the influence of pharmaceutical sponsors or wellness industry gatekeepers. Your donations directly fund our ability to bring on medical professionals, if they are relevant, wellness experts, which I'm more into, and researchers who share cutting edge information that mainstream media most likely will never touch upon. I'm not trying to sell you supplements or miracle cures such as a expensive hydrogen gas generator. We're here to empower you with the knowledge that helps you make informed decisions about your well-being. This holiday season, while many of us are thinking about our health goals for the next year, consider investing in the podcast that is invested in you. Whether it's $5, $25, or $50, your contribution ensures that we can continue delivering episodes that challenge conventional thinking, explore alternative approaches to your sustained health, and celebrate the connection between mind, body, and spirit. Think about the value that just one insight that has changed your health routine, one expert interview that's answered your burning questions, or one episode that motivated you to prioritize self-care. That's worth supporting. Help us reach our December Fund Goal Drive, which is in excess of 5,000 US dollars. And we're not even 1/5 of the way in at half the month. But we can use this money to expand our coverage, bring you on more diverse voices in wellness, and continue being the trusted companion on your health journey. Together, we're building a healthier, more informed community, one episode at a time. So I want you to go to http://libradio.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page and look for the donation links. That's not too much to ask for. You just look for the donation links, and once you see them, you should be, could be, would be motivated. So I want to thank you for tuning in today. Let me just see, I didn't see anyone checking in on YouTube Although it appears that we did have a listening audience. Let me double check that. We did have a listening audience there on YouTube. And I want to thank you for tuning in on the WhatsApp group. Here we have Sister. There's nothing to miss from mainstream ads. She emphasizes the word die, D-I-E. I'll see you on the motherland on my 100th Earth Day. And I say, yo. And I look forward to celebrating the 100th Earth Day with you, beloved. We've got a long, long way to go. And we're doing the best we can. We're going to bring as many people along as we possibly can. So go to libradio.com. I'm going to put up that link a second time. I had to take the period off the end of it. Go to and scroll down to the bottom of the page. And let's get this party started. No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. On that note, I think I'm done with today's conversation. I'm 2 hours away from my first meal, about an hour and 48 minutes away from my first meal of today. I'm very strictly going into my routine. I wrote it all out. And anybody who wants it, I'm probably going to cover it tomorrow because I almost can't resist not covering it. We're going to do the best we can with what the creatress has blessed us with. And on that note, I think I have exhausted my research for today. You've been tuned into your favorite. We aim to be your favorite. We are LIB Radio, LIB TV. We are living in black.com. Tell your friends to tell their friends that we have our own now. And we should be very proud of what we've got. We should be very, very proud of who we are. And I'm very proud of those of you who have chosen to accompany me on this beautiful journey. We are your favorite. We want to be your favorite. We are LIB Radio, LIB TV. We are living in black.com. Peace and prosperity to each and every one of you.